our first project was to make the CDs in order to sell them to raise money for real. Just like in Junior Achievement, you have to make the product to sell. I don't know. Are you familiar with Junior Achievement? Okay. So our first product was the CDs, and the CD is what you heard when you came in. These CDs is compiled of St. Louis artists, Metro East artists, all Christian artists, so it's positive, or at least, not talking about, anything that, So one of the things that we had been doing to promote selling the CDs is going out, having concerts with the artists being featured in the concerts. We were at New Life in Christ, we were at Harris-Stowe University, and we also were featured in the Harambe show at Belleville West. So we have been moving through West, and some people see me selling the wristband. So people are starting to get familiar with Real because of me, but me being only one person doesn't really effectively push the products. So with iTp, we're throwing this out or putting this to the back burner and coming up with a new way to raise money to help us with our overall mission, and that is to increase the peace. And so with you all's help from East, West, and O'Fallon, and hopefully Altop in the future, we can get this whole thing going. And so that's what he's about to talk to you about.
Okay. All right, and I won't go, and again, this right here is actually from just a quick overview. I'm going to kind of breeze through it because it is from the city perspective, and then I know that that's what she's going to talk more in detail about from the school perspective, what you can do in the school. So naturally, with anything, we talk about the vision, the mission, the target market, the strategy, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, along with our partners. All right, so ITP, the vision of ITP is to increase the peace, and we want to start a movement that aims to strengthen the culture of peace in the communities, okay? So our mission is actually to employ active outreach approach in the local communities, okay, with a local community focus. So the way that and again, as we come together on meetings like this on Sundays at 4 with the Real team, this is actually just a startup strategy, and then we can actually, it grows and ebbs and flows as we learn learn how to get it out there. But this campaign would start with a focus on our individual wards. Does anybody know what a ward is? Can you explain it in terms?
A ward is like a section of the city. It just, the city of Belleville, for example, would be divided up into different wards, and so I guess each of us would be responsible for getting the message out in a different ward.
Well, what we're going to do is, and that's very good, thank you. So it's like a group of neighborhoods, and there's actually a person who goes to the city council meeting, kind of like your school council meetings or whatever, and he represents that ward, which is kind of like the voice for, like the little mayor for our little area or whatever in the city. So Belleville's split up into about 8 wards or so. I live in Ward 6, and what I think is the best strategy for us is for us to come together and start wherever we have the most say-so or power or whatever influence, and that would be in Ward 6 right now because of some of the influences or connections that I have in that area. So we would start in a particular ward, and I'm looking at sort of a domino effect. Like we have, if we get the aldermen and all of them on our side in one ward and see us moving effectively, then he would mention it to other wards, and we can go from one ward to one ward. In other words, we don't have a whole lot of resources, so let's focus all our efforts where we can do the most influence. And we want to get church youth groups involved. Again, this is just a rough draft of the strategy, so we would get church youth involved, and in addition to church youth, neighborhood associations and things like that. So we have the ability to go from neighborhood to neighborhood. Again, this is on a city level. We would focus on youth activities and things like that. So we would ask, say for example, we were going door to door with the little things we put on the door, the ITP thing, and we'd ask like, okay, where's the main activities for this area, or what kind of things can we do in order to, for example, the type of things we want to do to like spread the culture or appreciation for other areas of the culture is to find out what cultures are evident in that ward, and then to kind of start blending if we can. Say, for example, if they had a hayride, let's just throw this out here. So Ward 6, maybe Eckert's has a hayride or something. Then we can add some sort of element of, some sort of cultural element of other cultures that are in Belleville, into that hayride. Let's add say for example, if there were Aztec Indians that lived in Belleville, right? I'm just throwing this out there. You know, we can just, you know, say, okay, we're going to add an element of Aztec Indians to the hayride. You know, something that, you know what I'm saying, we're going to come up with a whole lot of things because it kind of ebbs and flows as we figure out what's going on. Then community cultural events, they have parades and things like that. We can always add something to be a part of that or different things. We'll talk more about that. But again, that is on the city level. So we want to contribute to the culture by promoting racial harmony, engaging the community to discover and highlight and target the community's cultural icons and activities. And then we engage in the community using a community-wide alert activity that commissions the pre-established culture of peace. So we hope that we will, in the process of going out there on a calm basis, while everything is calm, we go out there and create a pre-established culture of peace. And then if something pops off, then everybody throws on their ITP stuff. You know, we text the ITP, we put on our ITP.
Tweet it.
I'm sorry?
Tweet it.
We tweet it, and then we have our little ribbons. So these are actually activities that somebody could do that, you know, we cut these ribbons.
I have the examples up there.
Oh, there we go. Here's the examples of the potential ITP ribbon. All right, and so we would, you know, all kind of different ideas. You know, put the stickers on the cars, go to the stores and have them put a sticker on the window. So we have some sort of unified symbol that represents, you know, increasing the peace. Okay, people who we would eventually be on board would be involved with our city officials, city boards, city commissions, neighborhood associations, as well as our church youth groups, newest business and community, or different community organizations like YMCA and different things like that. And then popular spots in the community, school clubs, on and offline resources. All right. Of course, we look at our strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats, and all that's for further detail. So this is just a basic overview of how we want to move out in the community. But guess what? It all starts with us, and now what we're going to talk about in the schools.